I've not turned a wheel on the bike for a good few weeks now. It's all feeling a bit gummed up. So I think the throttle is going to take a little bit of I changed the bars over a little while ago, and the throttle sleeve is a little bit tight on the bars, so it's one of those days where you've got to actively shut off the throttle. The front end's feeling a little bit sluggish. I'm not sure if I need a little bit of air in the tyre. Should have probably checked that before I came out, but I felt it by hand, but I didn't actually measure the pressure. So I'll probably have a little scoot around town. Just to warm it up. And then I'll have a little ride out to the north coast, maybe. Might just catch the last little glimmers of the sunset. As much as anything, this little ride out's just to test out the little camera setup, really. Got a couple of different methods lined up for mounting my GoPro to my bike. I've tried it a little bit over the years, mostly just mounted to my bars and that kind of thing, which I never really was happy with. Didn't really get too much problems with vibrations, but yeah, I just was never really happy with the view I got, really. So yeah, I've got it on the helmet now. You can probably tell it's moving around a bit. I've also got a little gimbal that I'm going to try out and maybe see if that delivers a nice little smooth shot. Can seem a bit surreal though with on the gimbal. Also just wondering how my my microphone will pick up the bike sound, really. You know, previously I've always just used the onboard camera, the onboard microphone. I've got a little lav mic plugged into it now, just sat inside my helmet. Hopefully that'll give a little bit of a better sound. It seems to be what most people do, you know, just like a lav mic in the helmet. I'm just a little bit concerned it might be a bit close to my mouth, so we'll see how loud it is, and hopefully not too bad wind noise. My helmet's a kind of bandit style helmet, so it's not the quietest. So I'm pretty sure that the little windsock on the mic will help for any actual wind that's getting up inside. You know, it's not shouldn't buffet the mic too much, but there might be a bit of noise around the helmet. So hopefully my mouth is near enough to it that it's nice and balanced. Well, the sky's looking a nice dusky pink, so we might just get a chance to get a little scenic shot. We'll see. So I plan to do a bit of bike content, but by no means looking to have the channel as like a moto vlog, basically because I don't ride enough. You know, I'd love to, you know, watch a lot of those channels, and I'd love to do something along those lines, but yeah, in normal times usually manage to ride to work a couple of days a week maybe, and then maybe a little jaunt out in the evening a couple of times, maybe a week. Recently, with all the quarantines and whatnot, I've been working from home, so no commute for me, and I've had my children at home with me as well, so I've not been as free at all to just nip out for a little ride. But obviously they're safely tucked up in bed now, so I can come out and raise hell. Oh yeah. Really no ideas what the GoPro is going to pick up. You know, I can see the sky's a little bit pink. Might just about use some potential to zhuzh it up in post. We'll see. It's kind of the nice thing, I guess, about right, where I'm situated. So I live in Truro in Cornwall, so you can get coast to coast pretty quickly. Yeah, Truro's kind of situated about as far away as you can be from the sea by road. Certainly in this section of Cornwall. So although it's quite nice and easy to get out to the beaches, it does involve a little drive or a ride. So it's kind of cool that you've got the coast as a nice little destination if you just want to go out for a ride. Oh, I guess I should introduce you to my steed. So she is a 1998 Ducati Monster 600. I've done a little bit of tweaking, so I bought it off of a friend of mine. Nice and cheap, obviously. And it was originally like the bronzy coloured frame, with black tank, black everything else. And when I bought it, it had been sitting for quite a long time, so it was definitely ripe for a bit of a strip down. Stripped it right down to the frame and repainted the frame black, so now it's kind of a bit murdered out. Kind of like, yeah. So I guess mods that I've done on this bike. So like I said, I've painted the frame black. That's a nice and easy one. Everything else, sort of frame and geometry wise, is pretty much stock. Slightly uprated the spring on the rear shock just to firm things up a little bit, just because of my weight. I think this bike's really intended for a rider, you know, in stock trim. It's intended for a rider a little bit lighter than me. It did seem to be a little bit saggy for my liking on the original spring. And I have it set up to its tallest ride height as well. I quite like the look of it with the back up a little bit higher, and yeah, it seems to just be a nicer riding position for me. So I've redone a lot of the electrics. I've sort of simplified a few things. You know, when I bought the bike, it had an electrical problem. That's why it had been laid up. So it had a little bit of a problem with a relay. So I've simplified it a little bit. I've remade the wiring, restructured it a little bit so that it can use really standard relays. I think that the way that it worked before was a little bit fiddly and needed a specific relay. And you know, they're not that easy to get hold of. And it just made sense to just remake all those relay points with nice, like, standard stuff that you can get, you know, eBay for a couple of pounds. So I've also changed the exhaust. So I have a Ducati Performance. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's like their classic retro one. It's pretty similar to the exhaust that they put on the fuel light. Let's hope I can get back. Well, I think we've missed the best of it. I'll probably do it. And that should do it for the scenics. Really do enjoy riding around Cornwall. I think the main thing is not so much the roads or the quality of the roads, because it's very mixed, but just you can kind of get to a load of different places in a pretty short space of time. I mean, if I wanted to kind of hop around the coves and the little beaches and, you know, lots of sort of scenic points, you can just, you know, half an hour max to get all the way from one place to another place. So, you know, if you had a day to ride around, you can kind of see a bit of everything, really. Back into Truro now. Speed limits, speed cameras. Now, like, I'm kind of in the middle of doing a film which I might put on my YouTube channel, and it might already be there. Just a little film about Truro, really, and sort of a little more broadly what your hometown kind of means to you, really. Which was funny because I kind of find it a little bit difficult to decide what my hometown is. You know, I've lived in Truro for a long time, and I guess living as an independent person, you know, Truro's the main place that I've lived as far as, you know, living on my own or living with my family. But I actually grew up a little further to the south, in a really small village. I was a bit closer to Falmouth, really, but I don't know, Falmouth never really seemed like my hometown, just because I never really lived in Falmouth. You know, lived on the fringe of it for a very short time. I've, you know, worked in Falmouth plenty, but actually kind of growing up I was very much in Myler, which is the little village where I grew up, and then, yeah, really kind of moved from there to Truro. So, and I think a lot of my friends, even when I lived in Myler, a lot of my friends were from Truro. I mean, a lot of my friends from that sort of age, I met through music. I played guitar, played in lots of bands, and yeah, most of the bands I've been in have been sort of Truro based. I went to Truro College, so I met a lot of friends there. So yeah, Truro is definitely my hometown at heart. You know, I live here now. Maybe not for too long. My kids are getting a little bit too large for the house that we have at the minute, so there's definitely a move on the cards pretty soon. So we'll see. I might end up making a new video for Red Roof